This tutorial is on how to extend the sleeves on the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmermann. The original pattern has elbow length sleeves, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make them full length, like what you see on this little jacket. Ravelry wiki page has written instructions on multiple ways that you can extend the jacket. Essentially, there's two ways. You can extend them before knitting the jacket, or extend them after. I prefer knitting them before because you don't have to pick up any stitches. Also, there's less ends to weave in. You might consider knitting the sleeve extensions afterwards if you're worried about the amount of wool you have. That way you can finish the body of the jacket and then just knit the sleeves as long as you can with the amount of wool that you have left. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit the sleeves before starting the baby jacket. Whichever method you do choose, you'll want to skip the steps in the actual pattern for adding the cuff fullness. So the cuff fullness is these increases that happen just after the edge that kind of give it that cute little shape. I've written row by row instructions in the description of this video, so check those out if you find that helpful. Before getting started, I just want to take a look at the end result and go over the high level plan. So we're going to knit the first sleeve extension except for the last row, and we're going to leave those stitches live. Then we're going to knit the second sleeve extension fully, followed by casting on the stitches required for the top of the back of the jacket, and then knit one last row on that first sleeve extension to bring the sleeve extensions to the same length. All right, well that's all, so let's get started. We're going to start with that first sleeve extension. So we're going to cast on 36 stitches. I'm just going to do the long tail cast on. The sleeves are knit in garter, which is what the entire jacket is knit in. All right, I just finished casting on. So now we're going to knit 10 rows in garter. Whew. So I've just finished the 10 rows, so I've got 5 cute little garter stitch bumps, and now I'm going to add the increases for the cuff fullness. There's going to be 9 increases in total, and we want them to be evenly spaced, so we're going to do our increases every 4 stitches. Remember, since this is a cuff, it's going to be seamed up along the top. So we're going to do 2 stitches, then we'll do our increase, and then we'll start doing the 4 space apart, and then we'll end with just the last 2 stitches. For my increase, I'm going to use knit through the front and back, as it doesn't have a direction. You can use make one right, make one left, just make sure to alternate between the 2 as you go. I'm going to knit 2, knit through the front and through the back, knit 3, knit through the front and through the back, knit 3, and so on and so forth until I get to my last increase, my 9th increase, and then I will just knit end. I'm going to knit 2, as I mentioned. And now I'm going to knit through the front and then knit through the back. Awesome. Okay. Then I knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we knit through the front of the stitch and knit through the back. Okay, I'll do one more. So I knit 1, 2, 3. Now I'll knit through the front and knit through the back. You get the idea. And I can see here that I'm starting to run out of stitches. I've only got 5 left. I just did my increase, so I'm going to knit my 3, and then I can see that I'm going to do my last increase here, and then I'll just knit 1, and then I'm done. Now let's just make sure we did that correctly. So we started off with 36, then we did 9 increases, so we should have 45 stitches. Awesome, we got 45 stitches. Now that we've done the increases for the cuff fullness, we need to complete the first sleeve extension, but 1 row short. So we're going to knit, we've done 11 rows, and now we need to do 3 more. The first sleeve extension is done. One trick I like to use to remember what row I'm on is I know when my working yarn is at the same end as my cast on yarn that I've done an even number of rows, and then I can just count the garter bump. Time to cut the thread and get started on the second one. Make sure to leave a long enough tail to weave in the ends. We need to leave these stitches live so that we can knit the 15th row after completing the second sleeve extension and the cast on stitches for the back. If you're like me and would rather just keep these stitches on the needle while you work, you're gonna wanna be careful here. It's gonna matter which needle you choose to cast onto so that you can just easily knit across these last stitches. So you're gonna wanna choose the needle that's beside your tail of yarn or your last live stitch that you knit. So I'm going to choose to cast onto this needle, not this needle. I'm going to cast on the 36 stitches for my second sleeve extension. So we're going to follow the same instructions that we did for the first sleeve extension. We're going to cast on our 36 stitches and we're going to knit 10 rows of garter. Then we're going to do a row where we do the cuff fullness, and then we're going to knit 4 more rows after that. However, don't cut the yarn this time. Do knit 1 more row than we did for our first. Sleeve extension is done, and now comes the exciting part, which is joining the two together. We're gonna cast on 88 stitches, and I like to use the backwards loop cast on method. I think it works well in this case. So I just cast on the 88 stitches for the top of the back, and now I get to join the live stitches from my first sleeve extension. Just knit right into that first stitch and get going. At the end, you'll have something that looks like this. So you have your first sleeve extension, then you have those top stitches along the back, and you have your second sleeve extension. The last step is just to place your stitch markers in a different spot than what the pattern calls for. So you put the first one on the 45th stitch and the second one on the 134th. And these correspond to the top stitches on your sleeve extensions. And once you do that, you can just follow the pattern as outlined by Elizabeth Zimmermann. I hope that tutorial was helpful. I'd love to see your baby jacket, so please tag me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this one.